of Brim Central that this is fine for illegal mining. Do district assemblies take fines from galamseyers? And then we'll end up having the EPA boss coming to tell us we need $35 million out of the taxpayers' money to clean the Brim River. The Speaker, we're expecting the President to tell us the state of our rivers so that we would all agree if we have to release $35 million out of our taxpayers' money to clean the Brim River. The galamsey menace, Mr. Speaker, is everywhere. And we expect the President to know those who are involved. Because when the President was in opposition, Mr. Speaker, he talked about the fact that it's the MCs and the government appointees who are involved in the galamsey menace. I'm surprised that in government, with all the investigative machinery, the President is not able to know those who have made the galamsey operations this worse. And then we have to take 35 million cedis, $35 million out of our taxpayers' money to clean the Brim River alone. How about other rivers, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, the President talked about the fact that health workers must accept postings to the rural areas. When I went back to my constituency and I engaged a few health workers, they told me to remind the President that when he was campaigning, there were certain things he promised them. And so they thought the President was going to give an update and give a state of those promises. The President promised health workers to expand health infrastructure. When I wanted your attention, you didn't give me. Expand health infrastructure, your manifesto. Expand health infrastructure to ensure prompt employment and deployment of health professionals. Introduce risk exposure insurance for injuries or illness on the job. Provide on-site accommodation at health facilities and facilitate home ownership schemes. Your manifesto, 2024 manifesto. Vehicle tax waiver. Implement a well-regulated vehicle tax waiver scheme for health professionals. Offer scholarship for nurses and allied health workers to pursue PhD level education. These health workers, Mr. Speaker, we're expecting the President to give an update of all these promises. If you haven't given them any update, if you haven't made any move on these ones, why would you insist that you should get them to go to the rural areas when they are posted? Mr. Speaker, the President is reported to have said that the current war that is going on between Iran and US
my brother, thank you.
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. I gave you one more. I gave you 1 minute. I granted you 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I was going to say that the President shouldn't be apprehensive because he reported to this House that Thor is working. If Thor is working and Thor is already refining crude, why should we be afraid that the war is going to affect our energy situation?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me now go to Honorable Nelson Kofi Jabbar. Are you Nelson?
No. Is that can hear?
Yes. Let's hear you, my brother. You have 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity for me to contribute to the statement, the State of the Nation address, powerfully delivered by the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, on the 27th of February 2026. Mr. Speaker, the President was very accurate, he was eloquent, he was straight to the point. Mr. Speaker, if you want to appreciate what I'm saying, then you've got to follow the road right away from Tetakwashi roundabout, go through Eastern Corridor, and get to Dambai, my constituency, where you will see a bridge. The bridge that I can also describe as a bridge on Oti River. Mr. Speaker, before this bridge will commence, Ghanaians from other constituencies like Krachi West, Krachi Chumru, Bandai, and the eastern part of the northern region always got stranded anytime they got to Dambai and the pontoon was in disorder. The pontoon was spoiled and they couldn't cross. Mr. Speaker, this is the president who promised on his word that if he's made the president of Ghana, he was going to see to it that the problem of transportation will be resolved. Mr. Speaker, not only on Dambai River, similar work is ongoing on the River Afram to Pandotoko. Work is ongoing on other places all over Ghana. This is true to the west of Ejumara, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Mr. Speaker, to continue, before His Excellency John Dramani Mahama assumed the state as the president, the interest rate of Ghana was somewhere beyond 30%. Mr. Speaker, as we speak today, the interest rate today is well around 18%. This means that it can give the macro traders opportunity to have access to trading capital. They can borrow from banks. This will enable them to expand their businesses. Mr. Speaker, this was what we saw in the era of MPP, that even in their era, when some banks were struggling, they needed just recapitalization. They could not do that. They had to collapse over 200 banks in this country. Yes, over 200 microfinances, they collapsed it in this country. 450. I'm even being, Mr. Speaker, I am being magnanimous. I am being magnanimous with my words, Mr. Speaker. Now, the distressed banks that are in distress and needed capitalization, Mr. Speaker, such as NIB, such as Developmental Bank, ADB, Mr. Speaker, the President and through the Minister of Finance is providing recapitalization for these banks. We are not collapsing the banks, but we are rather recapitalizing them to make them to be economically viable and to be solvent so that they can serve the good people of Ghana. This is the difference between the MPP government and then the NDC government. Mr. Speaker, I also move on to talk about inflation. When His Excellency John Mahama assumed presidency, inflation was well over 23.5%. As we speak today, Mr. Speaker, inflation is down to 3.8%. Sometimes first in this era. Mr. Speaker, I continue also to talk about corruption. I want to talk about corruption. It is said that, Mr. Speaker, if you want to come to corruption, come with clean hands. The president was assertive, he was brave, he was courageous when he was commenting on corruption. Why? Is because he is clean. Why? Is because he is a man who is up to task when it comes to corruption. Mr. Speaker, barely 15 months into power, like in the SY government, when His Excellency Akufo-Addo was about 15 months into office, he already attained so many names in addition to his name. One of the names was a clearing agent. Another name was he was in the pocket of a private businessman. Another name was that the mother serpent of all corruption.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Nelson Kofi Jabab. So it is now the turn of Honorable Kojo Oponkroma. Honorable, you are ranking of the Committee on Economy. You are therefore allocated 10 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to contribute to the motion currently before the House. Mr. Speaker, we on this side have just returned from a tour of farming communities, agro-processing sites, and engagements with the middle class of this country. And we regret to inform our colleagues on the other side that as we listen to you paint a very glossy picture of the state of the nation, we observe that there is a wide gap between your state of the nation and the lived experience of millions of our compatriots in the country. Mr. Speaker, this is happening. This wide gap, this wide dichotomy is because our friends who are in government are sitting here in Accra and are generating their own data. They are reading that data. They are believing that data. And they are telling the people on the ground that that is the reality on the ground. And Mr. Speaker, we are disappointed but not surprised. We are disappointed because for a party that claims that they support the grassroots of this country, it's surprising that in 1 year, in fact, it's disappointing rather, that in 1 year, they have forgotten about the realities on the ground and are sitting here quoting 70%, 20%, 30%, 40%. Just 1 year. But we are not surprised, Mr. Speaker, because as we had mentioned in 2024, a lot of the things that they were complaining about, they were just trying to capitalize on the genuine pain of the Ghanaian people. It's not that they had any honest answers to some of those issues. It's because we've heard them arguing in the last few days that the state of the nation is good and the state of the nation has improved. I want to respectfully submit to my colleagues that an improved state of the nation does not lie in the government statistics that you are repeating over and over. Honorable Member, an improved state of the nation should be identifiable in the lived experiences of people on the ground. For us, on the Committee on the Economy and Development, we are looking at three things: agric, industry, services. If you want to determine the true state of the nation, check the state of agriculture. As I mentioned, Mr. Speaker, we've just come back from the farms and the agro-processing sites. Talk to the rice farmers today. Rice farmers have borrowed money, cultivated rice, milled the rice, and have thousands of bags stored up in barns. Cannot find buyers because there is very little liquidity in town. Mr. Speaker, maize farmers, if you go to the north, maize farmers are complaining that they have cultivated maize. There are a lot of northern MPs who are here. If you stop reciting the numbers they've given you to recite in the chamber and you get on the ground, your maize farmers will tell you that they have borrowed money, they have cultivated maize, they have harvested the maize, it's stored in their barns, and they cannot get buyers. They cannot get buyers to buy because there's very little liquidity in town. Mr. Speaker, the cashew farmers in the Bono and Ahafo areas, are complaining that the prices that are being offered them and the liquidity that is not available is putting them in peril. And as for cocoa farmers, I think we've spoken enough about them. On our tour recently, it's not just the farmers. The purchasing clerks are losing a lot of money. Now we are finding people who have invested in cocoa farms
who are saying that they are contemplating selling their farms to illegal miners because they think they'll make more value from there. Yam farmers, Mr. Speaker, are complaining up north. So if somebody says that the state of the nation has improved, he should check the state of the farmers. A nation in which the state of its farmers is getting worse cannot be a nation whose state has improved. Mr. Speaker, look at manufacturers. The question to ask is whether or not the Ghanaian manufacturer today is better off than he was in 2024. If you speak to the manufacturers, you will find out that, for example, utility, including electricity bills, have gone up over about 28%. The cost of their locally produced raw materials, which they need for their production, is becoming unbearable for them in many instances. Mr. Speaker, if the Ghanaian manufacturer is worse off today than he was last year, the state of manufacturing cannot be better than it was last year. The state of the nation cannot be said to be better. Service providers, if our colleagues want to check, they should speak to the hairdressers. They should speak to the welders. They should speak to those who operate cold stores. They should speak to those who are doing computer coding. And they will tell you that they are worse off because today, among other things, even the cost of electricity is putting them out of business. So you can be here in the chamber and recite these numbers, that the state of the nation is better. The lived experience of the people on the ground is what the majority are looking out for. But Mr. Speaker, as I mentioned, we are not surprised because our colleagues have fixated on some things. For example, one of the things they are fixated on is trying to ace the inflation number. And so, as they have mentioned, my colleague tried to quote the number. He said it's 3.8. Let me respectfully remind him that just yesterday, they announced the new figure, 3.3. And we have argued that the method they are using, they can even get to zero very soon. But you see, what the people are measuring out there is cost of living. I've been on this side before defending inflation numbers. I'm telling you, take it from me, that what the people are measuring is cost of living. If what you are doing is heavily sterilizing about 62 billion Ghana cedis in the year 2025, and you are continuing with it, I'm telling you that inflation can even come down to zero with the method that you are using. But when people go out there and they are looking for an opportunity to even sell their goods, they will tell you that there's limited currency in circulation, there's very little money to generate demand. And Mr. Speaker, the sterilization they are doing is costing the Bank of Ghana so much that already the Bank of Ghana is beginning to prepare the grounds about the cost of their open market operations and how it's affecting their books. Mr. Speaker, one of the biggest statistics that exposes the fact that our colleagues on the other side are disconnected from reality is when they claim that in 9 months, 1 million people have found jobs. In 9 months. I am sure that even the government statistician himself doesn't believe it. For our colleagues who are here, they themselves know that it is not true that 1 million youth have found jobs in 9 months. If it is true, why are the young people in your constituencies chasing you? Where are the jobs? Your 24-hour economy has become a hoax. Your 1 million coders, people are even looking for those who have supposedly graduated to give them contracts. We can't find the 1 million coders. Mr. Speaker, as for their other apprenticeship and job creation programs, the least said about it, the better. So where are these 1 million jobs that you claim you have created? As I have said, you can recite this number over and over again. The lived experience of the young Ghanaian out there is what will be measured at the end of the day. Mr. Speaker, now we are worried that where there are real numbers that should be investigated, our colleagues on the other side are running away from it. We have filed motions to investigate the $214 million loss on gold transactions. Every week we come to this chamber, we are not having an opportunity to move that motion. We have filed a motion to investigate the circumstances under which half of our gold reserves have been sold. Every week we come into this chamber, we are not being given an opportunity to investigate it. Those are the real numbers that need to be investigated. Mr. Speaker, the state of the nation now is one of rebranding. PMMC rebranded to Gold Board. Kasua to Takrady Road is now being rebranded that it is a big push project. The domestic gold purchase program which they inherited, they now call it Accelerated Reserve Accumulation. That's the state of the nation today, rebranding things that you have inherited. And Mr. Speaker, the state of the nation today is that the government is going back to increase borrowing. They've just announced that in addition to raising our domestic debt from 309 million, which they inherited, to 309 billion, they
thank you so much. Yes, Honorable Potosu Kofi Richard.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member for Ho Central, eh?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, let me hear you. You have 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker.
Hold on. Yes.
Speaker, let me pray you that we take one more in addition to the listed or the advertised names. I'm trying to reach agreement with my brother on the other side. In view of that, I pray that we add one more to the advertised numbers. Yes. Thank you very much. And if it's agreed, then from our side will be Aji Aladi. Then she'll finish it for the day on our side. Thank you.
Speaker, that is workable to us. So on our side, the Honourable Member for Nkoko, Joseph Frimpong, will speak on our side as the last person. That's it.
Very well. So, Honorable Kofi Richard, you have 5 minutes. Let's hear you.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the motion to thank His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for delivering the State of the Nation address, such a laborious task, on the theme Building Prosperity, Restoring Hope. I want to say that it's not rhetorical, it is measurable. Between 2025 and 2026, that's January to February, Ghana's economic and educational sectors have witnessed concrete data-backed recovery and reform. Mr. Speaker, in January 2025, we inherited an economy in distress. The NDC inherited an economy in distress. The only thing left was the country being mortgaged. But here we stand, and I overheard some of our friends on the other side saying that the president came here to lament. For example, if you owe a debt and you pay, and you make people aware that you have finished paying your debt, are you lamenting or you are giving them encouragement? Now, the Ghana reference rate, we inherited 29 plus 2. It's now 14 plus 2. Smart businesses are now referencing their loans. They are going for lower rate interest loans to pay off the high rate interest loan they took in 2024 in order to remain afloat. The Ghana cedi has appreciated over time, 40.7% against the US dollar, 30.9% against the pound, and 24% against the euro. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the 24-hour economy that we passed in this house is not just a talk. It's a reality, and it's procedural. Very soon we shall see the fruits of the 24 hours, and we shall applaud the president, because it's not anything that we can just put down and say this is 24 hours. It's an integral part of our economy, so we shall all see it very soon. Mr. Speaker, in the education sector, we are investing in human capital. Education remains the backbone of sustainable economic and transformation, and since 2025, we have witnessed this in this chamber. Hitherto, Mr. Speaker, myself and the Gen Zs, we thought that in governing the country, it's all about going to borrow. But now the dynamics have changed. We have a creative president who has made us aware that it's not the borrowing that matters, but it's how well and how prudent you manage the economy, and that's what we are witnessing now. We are here today, and we keep talking about the cocoa farmers. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that if a cocoa farmer needed $20,000 to import a car in 2024, he was going to spend almost 340,000 Ghana cedis. But today, here we stand. That same farmer in need of $20,000 needs about 20 to 22,000 Ghana cedis to import the same car. Look at the difference that he has saved. So it is not worth it saying that the cocoa price has been reduced for the cocoa farmer. It's rather based on what the president has done to this country by making us aware that we are on a better mission. Mr. Speaker, the president made us aware that he has moved from the Old Testament, that is Lamentation, to the New Testament, that is Acts of the Apostles. He is acting now. So he says we are on the runway, ready to take off. So let's all put on our belts so that we don't fall from our seats. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kofi Richards. So now let me turn to Honorable Frechi. Honorable, you have 5 minutes.
Oh, no, I'm a chair. 10 minutes.
Honorable member, you have 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, respectfully, I'm a chairperson of a committee.
Chairperson of?
10 minutes.
No, hold on. You are chairperson of which committee?
Chieftaincy, Culture and Religious Affairs.
Well, honorable members, it appears that is true. That committee is chaired by the minority, and therefore, Honorable Frechi, you have 10 minutes. 10 minutes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you hear the comment on the floor, I believe that's why the President, during the State of the Nation address, refused to give a good update on what is happening in our chieftaincy and religious sector of the economy. And we all know how things are happening up north and more brewing up in other regions. I believe, and I also expected that the President would have given her the state of our chieftaincy issues. But, Mr. Speaker, you know something. In Offensive North, we have a lot of cocoa farmers, and I've checked, and unfortunately, no cocoa farmer has been given a borehole. The boreholes that were promised to cocoa farmers, that they're going to drill boreholes in cocoa farms. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, nothing is happening. Then, Mr. Speaker, the President talked about 1 million jobs. We have 276 constituencies. So I would like to ask our members of parliament here, at least averagely, each constituency should be talking about 3,006 jobs. Can we as members of parliament talk about the fact that these 3,600 jobs have been created in each constituency? It's quite unfortunate. Mr. Speaker, the President is a gentleman, and I'd like to appreciate. But unfortunately,
We know that Akentinapia Minka University of Skill Training and Entrepreneurial Development was renamed again by Mr. President through a bill that he brought to Parliament. Mr. Speaker, Simon Didon Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development has been renamed. Mr. Speaker, the university, the CK Tendem University of Technology and Applied Sciences has also been renamed. Mr. Speaker, Planting for Food and Jobs has also been renamed. Yeah. So no wonder that we can say this is the Commander-in-Chief of rebranding and renaming. Mr. Speaker, if you talk about State of the Nation address, you are to give the state of what you have been able to do. You are to tell us what you have been able to do. We are all here in this country when we witness, sadly, 6 young, energetic women lost their life for the fact that they are looking for jobs. And we are telling us 1 million jobs have been created. We are telling this nation that 3,600 jobs have been created in constituency. It's quite unfortunate. And we hope that the president will come again and give a better State of the Nation address. What did we see? It's like being read the budget statement. That's what we saw. It's like we are on the campaign grounds. What they promised to do during the campaign is not what is happening. Mr. Speaker, let me come to education. I was happy to hear the committee chair for education talking about the president's commitment to build schools at the basic level. That is true. They committed 10% of the district assembly common fund to build new schools. Mr. Speaker, we were hoping that the president will give us the update on these schools, but nothing was said. Mr. Speaker, they said that 10% of the district assembly common fund was going to be used for furniture. Mr. Speaker, we were hoping that the president will come here and give us an update on the furniture that was being bought during 2025 budget year. Mr. Speaker, we were told that a lot of textbooks were going to be printed for our schools. We were hoping that the president would have come to give us an update on this. Mr. Speaker, on TVET, it's quite unfortunate that the president decided not to talk about technical and vocational education. Mr. Speaker, it's like repeating the old same story. It's like we are campaigning and campaigning and campaigning. In 2025, the president committed to build 6 TVET centers of excellence. Mr. Speaker, when the president came again to give us the State of the Nation in 2026, he's talking about the same thing he wants to do to state centers. So which is which? The question I keep asking is a chameleon. And I keep saying the promises are so beautiful, so sweet, but the real state of the nation is what is happening in our constituencies. The people are not feeling it. The farmers don't have any funds to procure anything. Because of sterilization, there's no money for farmers to buy. During 2024 and the previous years, even though things were high, quote unquote, people had money to buy. So if you are talking about state of a nation where people don't have money to be able to procure anything, even when inflation is -5, they can't do anything. So the real state of nation needs to be told to the people of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, over 5,000 basic schools are still under trees and makeshift structures. Over 5,000, and you are aware, in your constituency, Mr. Speaker, in our constituencies, we know, and due to the good measures of Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, we were able to implement free secondary education. Mr. Speaker, because of the boldness of Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, we were able to implement free secondary education. Because of that, enrollment at our secondary schools have improved. Mr. Speaker, at this time, we were hoping that the president would have committed more money and also giving same to improve on infrastructure, but up to 70%, because of the good work that was done by Bawumia and Akufo-Addo, demand has improved. and demand has gone up, so we're supposed to commit more funds to improve on infrastructure in our second cycle school. Unfortunately, the president refused to give us an update on that. Mr. Speaker, as we are talking now, 30,000 of our basic schools are in need of teachers. In fact, we are having a deficit of a minimum of 30,000 teachers. Mr. Speaker, the president promised in 2025 to recruit 50,000 teachers and 10,000 non-teaching staff. Mr. Speaker, he listened to the president for 2 hours in this chamber, but nothing was said about teacher recruitment in 2025. So we want the Mr. President to come and tell us what did he do regarding teacher recruitment. If the member of parliament responsible for Tatale Sanguli district is here, Mr. Speaker, 20% of the primary schools are started by a single teacher. If you go to a primary school, it's started by a single teacher. We were hoping that the president, who said he was resetting Ghana, would have talked about what is the teacher situation in our schools. Now that people-teacher ratio now exceed 1 to 40 people. What was the president's promise to Ghanaians? That he promised that right after teacher training colleges, you are going to go straight into teaching. You are going to employ directly, but unfortunately, the 6,005 that Akufo-Addo Bawumia even employed, unfortunately, nothing has been said about them, and nothing was done about them. So, not mentioning anything about teacher situation, Mr. Speaker, is unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable. And we want Mr. President to come back, because you are talking about the human capital of this nation. And if we don't build the basic education, we cannot build. So we need the commitment to hire the 50,000 teachers. Mr. President refused to say something about it, and we were hoping that Mr. President will not just be Commander-in-Chief of renaming and rebranding, but will be Commander-in-Chief of ensuring that our classrooms have teachers, our classrooms have infrastructures, our classrooms have the textbooks to be able to support the education in this country. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Frechi. So now, upon the admission of the application, I will call Honorable Hajia Ladi. Hajia, are you? Is Hajia chairperson?
I'm right.
Hajia, you have.
Ranking, and that is my chairman who just.
Oh, okay. Then you have 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to comment on the statement on the state of the nation that was presented to this House by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Mr. Speaker, the state of the nation is supposed to spell out the reality on the ground about what is happening in the nation. And that was exactly what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama did. Mr. Speaker, yesterday it was very interesting when I listened to some of my colleagues talking about transportation and going to the extent of saying that we have many people being stuck along the road and they don't have means of transport to go home. And interestingly, this was coming from our colleagues at the opposite side. I want to remind them that if there are people to blame or there is a government to blame, then it is the immediate past government that is to blame. Mr. Speaker, interesting enough, they have forgotten that in the name of improving transportation, they came to this House so 2 million cedis, $2 million was paid out. $2 million was paid out to somebody whom nobody knows, and nothing not even a train, the tire of a train has been produced, not to talk of a train in the sky. Not even the trains on the ground were supported. Not to talk about, we didn't even see a drawing by any PY child to show this. Mr. Speaker, we still have the case of the auctioning of buses. That is metro, mass, especially buses. The case is still pending. If they had maintained those buses and worked on them, I believe that those buses would have done a very good job and would have supported our people. And yet, they auctioned it and we cannot even tell. I wouldn't want to talk so much because it is under investigation, but they shouldn't forget that they have a problem. Mr. Speaker, in this same house, we heard about the procurement of e-buses, that is the electronic buses. And we were told categorically in this house that there were 10 that had already been procured and was in this country. Unfortunately, immediately they left power when we went in to look at the buses. And I'm a member of the Transport Committee. There were only 3. Only 3, Mr. Speaker. These are the same people who will sit today and talk to us about transportation, when these are some of the things that they have done when it comes to transport. Mr. Speaker, the issue of roads in this country is one of the things that the MPP government used as if it was a national anthem. Year of roads, 1. Year of roads, 2. And yet, when they came to power, immediately they stopped the construction of roads, including the road from Bolga, Boku, Pulmakom. Immediately it was stopped. And that has affected Pusga itself, because the lot 11, which was supposed to be constructed, had to be stopped. And up till now, we are still making sure and trying to ensure that that road is done. No road have they successfully completed, except coming to stop the cocoa roads under the fact that they were doing an audit. Which audit up till now, Mr. Speaker, we haven't seen any report. Mr. Speaker, 10 million in doing an audit is something that we need to actually investigate. Mr. Speaker, let me talk about gender, and for that matter, women. Mr. Speaker, I wish to congratulate the NDC government, and for that matter, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for actually considering women and knowing that women are a group of people that need to be recognized, and that we are not partners in any other dubious means, but in projecting and ensuring that this country moves forward, and that the first female vice president was nominated and elected by the NDC, and so today we have a female vice president in the person of Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajuma. Mr. Speaker, if you look at our educational status in this country, the girl child is very important. Following activities, we have realized that the girl child has not always had a good stand after getting to about 11, 12, and then ensuing years because of a monthly periods. Some of them do stop education, or they stop school because they do not have sanitary pads to support them. This, our government has ensured that today every girl child in school who needs it will have and has access to sanitary pads, and so no girl child would say she would not be able to go to school. Mr. Speaker, all along I have listened to the MPP that have always touted the issue of women. Mr. Speaker, it's painful and annoying for us to note that in the ECOWAS Parliament, there is no woman from the other side The MPP have no female representation. I had been alone and I am still alone being the female in ECOWAS Parliament. Mr. Speaker, in the last Parliament, they had 20 women and we had 20 women. Ask me today how many